Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing some digital journaling on my iPad. Since we recently returned from our trip to Japan, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to journal the highlights of our trip. My channel is all about digital planning and journaling, so make sure to subscribe for more of this content. I'm going to be journaling inside of my digital planner in Noteful app. I do have a separate journal, but most days I just use the notes section of my daily page to journal a little bit about my day, so I haven't really felt the need to keep a separate journal. I have this custom index in my planner that hyperlinks to blank pages, and this is where I put my vision board. So I'm going to add a new index title and do my journaling on a blank page in here. For our trip, we spent about 2 weeks in Japan going from Tokyo to Osaka, and I'm going to be journaling just the highlights and in no particular order. The first thing I'm doing is creating a page title using the text tool and a calligraphy font. This is a custom font I installed using iFont app. Then I found these cherry blossom stickers I made a while ago, and they're perfect for decorating this page because we saw so many cherry trees in Japan. Here I duplicated the same sticker and rotated it so that I can put it on the other side of the page. One of the highlights of our trip was definitely the food. I used the iPad's image cutout feature to lift this tray out of the background, and you can see it's not done a perfect job as it's missing a chunk from the corner. So I used the eyedropper tool to grab the same colors and just filled in the missing parts using a pen, which was actually harder than I expected, and it took me quite a couple of attempts. Then I grouped everything together so that I can move and resize it more easily on the page. I struggled to write in a straight line, so I added this guideline sticker to the page, and I'll delete it once I'm done writing. You can grab this sticker for yourself from my freebies vault, which I'll link in the video description. I find it helps to zoom in, and you can also use the zoom tool, which automatically moves your page view forward when you reach the end of the box. We had a lot of fun trying different foods, and I made a list on my phone along with screenshots of everything we wanted to eat. I think my favorite was this shaved ice dessert, which was even better than ice cream, and we also loved all the sushi and ramen, of course. Here I wrote the words around the image and I ran out of space, so I just repositioned and rotated it slightly to fit. One thing that was a huge culture shock in Japan was the long queues for food everywhere. It seemed normal to wait for up to an hour at popular restaurants and sushi bars, and it took us 3 attempts before we finally got to eat at this pancake cafe, but luckily it was worth the wait. The next section is about the cute animals we met on the trip. Another highlight of our trip was going to Nara to see the famous deer. I drag and dropped a photo from my album and I added this photo frame sticker over the top. The deer kind of blends into the background, so I used a white pen to draw an outline. Here I attempted to use the brush pen, which is pressure sensitive, to do a calligraphy style, but I found this incredibly hard and I definitely need a lot of practice. In Nara, you can buy these biscuits to feed the deer, and it's so cute how they will bow to you before taking the biscuits. We bought way too many biscuits and couldn't find any hungry deer at first, so we were so excited when we finally found some deer who actually wanted our biscuits. It's like a bow for nothing. I don't want this. Oh, Dad, they're all coming for you.
Surrounded.
Surrounded by deer. Okay, yeah.
That's the sign.
He's just bowing, he's like, give me the biscuits. We also had fun feeding the red-faced snow monkeys in a park in Kyoto. That was another highlight of our trip. I used the highlighter pen to create this block of color behind the handwriting, just to make the page look a bit more colorful, and I also added this cute Polaroid camera sticker. One of my favorite features in Noteful app is you can turn down the transparency of images. I made these stickers semi-transparent because I'm going to be writing over the top of them. Next, I want to journal about the cherry blossoms, and I added in this picnic sticker from my spring pack because the parks were full of people enjoying picnics under the cherry trees, which is a spring tradition in Japan where people come together to view the flowers. The guideline sticker here was a little too distracting, so I turned down the transparency to a point where it doesn't look as obvious, but I could still see it on the page. We had timed our trip to see the cherry blossoms, and initially I was underwhelmed because there were so few trees in bloom and each one was mobbed by like 50 tourists. But within days, all the trees started blooming and it was an incredible sight to see the parks full of these pink trees with their falling petals. It was more expensive and busy to visit Japan during cherry blossom season, but I definitely think it's worth it to see it at least once. Here I resized the words and duplicated it in a different color to create a text shadow effect. I tried to fill up the blank spaces on the page, so I also duplicated this flower sticker and I'm using the freehand crop tool to cut out just the parts that I want. I played with the tape pen and drew these decorative lines on either side of the title. I also tried to write over them, but they're meant to be used as a study tool to cover up your notes, so unfortunately they always stay on top of any handwriting. Next, I drag and dropped this book cover from Safari because during the trip I started learning about Japanese culture and philosophy, and I discovered a couple of books that I have since started to read on my Kindle. I came across this quote that I really like, which says, "The distance between good and perfect is infinite." I've struggled with perfectionism as a content creator, and I've enjoyed reading about this concept called wabi-sabi, which is about embracing the beauty of things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. I loved all the cute things in the shops like the plushies, snacks, and stationery, and I had to remind myself not to buy any stationery since I'm using everything digital nowadays. It was also cool to see all the cute cartoon drawings and artwork everywhere, since we both love Japanese anime, and we also had fun visiting all the manga and game stores in Tokyo. I noticed my handwriting is getting progressively messier as I journal. My natural handwriting is quite messy, and it does take me a lot longer to write neatly, and I don't always have the patience. But I think as long as I can easily read what I've written, then it doesn't have to be perfectly neat. For each block of handwriting, I used a different color highlighter to make the page look more colorful. I added this torn paper sticker from my vintage stickers pack, and I found some Google images of the things I went shopping for during my trip, which was mainly skincare and cosmetics. I love the look of white pen on darker colored paper, and one of my favorite things about digital journaling is just being able to have fun and experiment, and if it looks awful, you can always go back to what you had before. Here I'm using the image cutout feature again to grab these objects from the background, and then I use the crop tool to tidy things up. I went on a crazy shopping spree after learning that Japanese-made products are mostly very high quality, and we also brought back lots of supermarket snacks and plum wine. One of my favorite purchases are these cute Hello Kitty nail clippers. We had actually planned to take the Hello Kitty bullet train to go on a day trip, but decided not to because of heavy rain. Another thing that really stood out to me was the people. This was our first time in Japan, and we found everyone we met to be very polite and friendly, and we got such good customer service everywhere. We had a great night in a random bar in Kyoto, trying out different drinks and chatting to strangers. Public areas and bathrooms are all super clean, and everything is just very orderly in general, and people are so good at queuing. Overall, we had a really fun trip, and I can't wait to visit again someday. I would love to live in Japan for a while, but I think the visa requirements are quite difficult unless you have a job out there. Now I'm tidying up the whole page by resizing some sections, changing up the colors, and filling in any remaining blank spaces with extra doodles, stickers, and text. So here is what the final page looks like, and this was really fun and easy to do, and I think it turned out quite nice. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'd love to know if you do any sort of digital journaling, and if so, what do you like to journal about? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. Check out my other videos in the meantime, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching!